It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wide discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather's senior meteorologist, Wesley Williams.
Waking Up with Wesley is sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.
All right, hello there, South Mississippi, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. So we are going to take a look at the tropics today because there's actually a new tropical storm that's expected to form in the Caribbean, and that's going to be something you need to know because you also need to know that it is not really expected to impact our local area, but we will take a look at exactly where it could threaten some bad weather across parts of the region, parts of the Caribbean actually. So here's a look at the latest as of the 8 o'clock hour Tuesday morning. The National Hurricane Center giving that area a near 100% chance to develop into a depression or storm. Here's just a few of the snippets that you need to know that they are talking about this morning. So first of all, in order for something to be a tropical storm, it has to have three things. It has to have a well-defined center, like you can look at it on a satellite and easily tell, hey, there's the center of the storm. It has to have a closed wind circulation. So that means on all sides, the winds have to go counterclockwise on all sides of the storm. And you have to have enhanced thunderstorms surrounding that well-defined center. And as of this moment, it does not appear that this particular disturbance has all three of those, but that is changing over time. The center is becoming better defined, and that is why the National Hurricane Center expects this to be named today. They're actually going to fly the hurricane hunters out to it. There's a flight scheduled today, and I would imagine that either by that time or before then, we're going to know whether this is getting named or not. But there you go with the current stats on this disturbance. It's currently known as Invest 98L, moving to the west at 14 miles an hour, minimum pressure 1,003 millibars. And look at the wind speeds. I want to point those out to you. 50 miles per hour. So it's already as strong as a tropical storm. It just is not as structured as a tropical storm. It doesn't have the proper definition, the proper structure to have that name, because I told you it's got to have those three things in order to get a name. It's not enough to just be as strong as a tropical storm. You have to actually have those three things in order to get that name. At least according to the National Hurricane Center, the people who actually named those storms. And as you can see, it's definitely got the thunderstorms going for it. It is fighting some wind shear. You can actually see the winds aloft kind of blowing the cloud tops off toward the east a little bit. So there is some wind shear coming in from the west, but the water temperatures are really warm and there's not that much dry air around it. So it's actually able to take advantage of very favorable conditions. I wanted to show you the computer model because this shows you where this will go. Even if it becomes a tropical storm today, it does not look like it's going to make a beeline for the Yucatan. If anything, it's actually going to more likely take a turn toward the right, toward the north, and close in on the island of Hispaniola. So there are places there near the Dominican Republic, near Haiti, where there could be some, tropical storm conditions going into this week. Maybe by Thursday, they could be seeing conditions going downhill. What kind of wind speeds are we talking about with this? Well, when we look at this computer model, by the way, you've got the scale at the top there. Anytime you see basically orange color or red, you're looking at a tropical storm wind. Anytime you see a purple color or pink or white, you're looking at a hurricane strength there. And I want to make this bigger on your screen so you can see all of the detail. Notice that we get those red and purple colors to begin showing up tomorrow. So tropical storm in next 24 hours, that's what our computer model is showing. And then you go to Thursday, you're seeing purple and white colors there, indicating wind speeds easily topping 70 or 80, maybe topping 90 miles per hour. So that would be in excess of Category 1 strength, nearing the island of Hispaniola, maybe closing in on a landfall somewhere in eastern Haiti. So again, this is just 2 days away from what our model is basically showing as a hurricane landfall in the Caribbean. Now, as you notice the spaghetti lines, this is a spaghetti model which shows possible scenarios of where this storm could go. Notice that there's no path into the Gulf. So that's good news for us on the Gulf Coast. Is why I don't expect any concern from this. But I do think you do see kind of a trend emerging where you see more of the lines clustered toward that turn to the north. And we'll monitor this trend in the coming days. But the next available name, Melissa, that's the next available name on the list. So if this takes a name, that's the one it will probably take. And again, just bringing it all together for you. New system expected to form in the Caribbean. No local concerns over the next 5 to 7 days. And hurricane season officially ends next month on November 30th. So we're almost done here. But of course, anytime there's activity out there, we do watch to make sure that there's no local threats. And I'm happy to report to you that as this is probably going to become Melissa, future Melissa, now really looking like a threat to the local area. All right, we'll switch gears and talk about our local forecast because we've got a cool front that I'm tracking for you. And before I show you the cool front on the map, I do want to show you the potential for the coolest air of the season to come here and get us this week. Well, let's take a look at what temperatures we're talking about. So today, it's been off to a nice and cool start, but we're already seeing the humidity increasing. Just don't take my word for it. We'll pull up the reported dew points over the past 6 hours. I would imagine we're going to see an uptick. Okay, well, we don't see a trend there. Let's go 24 hours. I know we'll see a trend there. So there you go. With yesterday morning, dew points were in the 40s, and now they are basically at 60. So that's a 10-degree jump on the dew point scale. But that doesn't mean it feels like the summer muggies, right? It just means we went from dry yesterday to not as dry today. We're basically almost a little bit humid. Now, we go to this afternoon, and we will get the dew points into the 60s, so it will be noticeably humid by Tuesday afternoon. You combine the noticeable humidity with warm temperatures in the middle 80s, and it will feel uncomfortable this afternoon, especially compared to yesterday afternoon. But don't worry, a cool front is on the way to get us back to the comfy stuff. And while it is still going to be mild and muggy this evening, the cool front arrives tonight, and then we're setting the stage for chilly conditions tomorrow morning. So there's a look at Wednesday morning, waking up to middle 50s inland, lower 60s on the coast. That's not that chilly, right? We've been there before. But here we go. The air is going to turn drier and drier the later we go into Wednesday. It's going to be very, very dry tomorrow during the day. The relative humidity values might crash down to 20%. When you have the relative humidity that low, that sends my alarms off in my head for wildfire danger. I think it could be easy for wildfires to start tomorrow, especially since we haven't had much rain in recent days. And this front, when it comes in today, probably won't bring much rain either. So wildfires could spark easily, I think, tomorrow with a very low humidity. The only thing that might help us is that it might not be extremely breezy. So even though wildfires might start, they might not spread very rapidly. So hopefully we can keep the breezy wind at bay. Now, tomorrow night, here it is, the coolest night of the season so far in South Mississippi. We are looking at temperatures dropping into the 40s possibly across parts of our area. This is Wednesday night. See, before midnight, 50s, 60s. After midnight, we're basically into the 40s in most areas. We're only a couple of degrees away from the 40s on the coast. We will be in the 40s inland. So there you go. Wednesday night, overnight into Thursday morning, expect temperatures to range from around 50 by the beaches into the upper 40s away from the water. So that will be the chilliest air of the season so far. Now, in order to get to that chill, we have to get through this cool front. So let's track it for you on the map here. Pulling up my cool front tracker. Here it is. All right. So here's a look at the cool front. As of Tuesday morning, it is moving through northern Mississippi, and there are some rain showers along the front, but the thing is, most of those rain showers are probably going to fall apart before they reach us on the coast. So as we go to Tuesday evening, we're not really getting much chance for rain. It is possible, chance not 0%, but it's not all that high. Now, once that front moves into the area tonight, then the drier air behind it comes in, and that's how we turn very, very dry for tomorrow. So if we don't get any rain out of this little 20% today, this little 20% tonight, that's pretty much it. and it will turn dry for tomorrow. We can take a closer look at the futurecast rain chances. This is zoomed in to South Mississippi. So notice by 1 p.m., 10% chance in the local area. And then we go to 4 p.m., 20% chance in the local area. Most of the rain is northwest of us at this point, but once we get to the evening, we're seeing some of it getting close to our 6 southernmost counties. So that's kind of your 20%, and it's really not a lot. I wouldn't get my hopes up for rain out of this, but the chance is not 0%. So, you know, it's possible to see some rain. By the time we get to tomorrow, that's it. The sun comes up, the rain chance is 0%, and it's over. It's going to stay dry for Wednesday, for Thursday, for Friday. And then we get into some better rain chances over the weekend because we're going to see higher humidity. So enjoy that stretch of dry weather tomorrow and Thursday and Friday. And then the higher humidity for Saturday and even higher humidity for Sunday. And that will continue into next week. So there's your 7-day forecast. Yesterday's video, we did kind of a deep dive for the upcoming weekend. I'm going to hold off on doing a deep dive for the weekend today, but we'll get back into that probably by tomorrow. But right now, the rain chances over the weekend, Saturday is not a 0%. Sunday is not a 0%, folks. So if you have some outdoor plans this weekend, if you have some Halloween festivities, Halloween parties for this weekend, the final weekend before Halloween, you do want to still keep an eye on those rain chances. Technically, the current trend does show Sunday as possibly a little bit of a higher chance than Saturday, but we're still trying to nail down the uncertainty which continues in some of those weekend rain chances. So rain chances over the weekend right now, still not very certain on those, but the things that are looking pretty likely for the weekend are the fact that it's going to be breezier. So starting to turn breezy Friday, staying really breezy Saturday, winds on Saturday over 15 miles an hour. And still a little breezy Sunday too. And we're also going to see that humidity. It creeps up on Saturday and it stays high on Sunday into next Monday. So the breeze and the humidity, those are the high confidence parts of the weekend. And then a little bit lower confidence on those rain chances. But like I said, if you check back in on the forecast, we will know more with greater certainty in the coming days. And the last thing I want to do right before I go, if you manage to stick around, then you've earned a little treat. How about sneak peek at Halloween, because we are 10 days from Halloween. Today is October 21st, so with it in the 10-day range, here's what the first information shows. We're giving you a first alert that there's going to be a chill in the air, chills and thrills for Halloween 2025. The current outlook is calling for dry, sunny skies with comfortable low humidity on Friday, October 31st. And a cooler than usual high temperature. That's why I said chills and thrills, because the high on Friday, October 31st, might barely get into the 70s. So that means we spend most of the day below 70, and then we only briefly pop up to 70 or 71 for a couple of hours on Friday afternoon. Then we go to Friday evening, and it cools back down into the 60s and 50s. So for trick-or-treating, Halloween Friday evening, you do want to keep an eye on that. Right now, it looks like you might want a costume that keeps you warm because it might be kind of chilly for Halloween evening. But a long time between now and then, so that's certainly not set in stone, and it could change as we update the information each day. But just wanted to give you that sneak peek and reward you for sticking around to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching today's edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams, and we'll catch you again next time.
Waking Up with Wesley has been sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.